Senators Warren, Merkley, Menendez, and Booker get together to destroy our rights. Hey, thanks again for tuning into the Teal Jack channel. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Todd, and what I'm bringing before you is Senate Bill 3254. Now, we have had for a while now a bunch of Democrats that want to eliminate the Second Amendment altogether. And in fact, during the presidential run for the president on the Democratic ticket side, you had a certain individual from Texas who, his last name's O'Rourke. I'm not even going to say his first name because I think it's Robert Francis technically, but he wanted to go by Beto, and that's what drove me nuts. But anyway, Mr. O'Rourke, he stated before the people somewhere along the lines of, we're going to take your AR-15s away. And that is exactly what this bill is doing by Warren, Merkley, the moron from Oregon, Menendez, have no idea where he's at, and that ridiculous man called Cory Booker from New York. These three individuals, or four individuals, come together to take away basically the Second Amendment. And they put forth this bill, which they have titled Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act of 2020. I think what it should be titled is So Long to the Second Amendment. And in this bill, it's quite crazy what they are going to do. But let me read you part of it. And this part of this bill states this: to end the epidemic of gun violence and build a safer community by strengthening federal firearms laws and supporting gun violence research, intervention, prevention initiatives. Now, excuse me as I lean forward so I can scroll and reach the computer. What this bill is doing is, yeah, it's going to be a gun ban. And I'll get to some of that. It's also, the reason I say so long to your Second Amendment is they actually want to make it so you have to get a federal approved license in order to own a firearm. So forget the Second Amendment, which gives us the right to bear arms just as it's written. Now they want you to get a license. And the license lasts for 10 years only. And then you have to reapply. And it looks like by the language that I read, in the reapplication process, you could have somebody for the ATF just all of a sudden on a whim say, nope, we're not going to renew that license, and your license will go away. And I feel 100% this is a way to take away our rights as individuals granted to us under the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Keep in mind, I've already stated multiple times that the Hughes Amendment, signed by Ronald Reagan, and the NFA Act are both unconstitutional acts because it violates the Second Amendment, which says it shall not be infringed. And here's one more time we're going to get shall not be infringed thrown out the door, as they want you to have a license in order to get a firearm. And part of getting this license is you have to pass a written test of some sort. You have to have hands-on training, firearms testing, and demonstrate the safe use of a firearm. They also have this other process of this licensing. And of course, I'm positive there's going to be a fee with that. I haven't followed through, but they want you to submit a photograph. It's this whole rigmarole in order to have the federal government know exactly who owns firearms in this country. And if you don't have this license, you will be punished by the law for it. And part of this also looks like under this licensing, it grants the state, even though the federal government might issue the license, it seems to grant the state the power to say, no, we're not going to do it either. So they have a section in here which I basically briefed on, which was related to the ATF. And it says the director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives may file a petition which shall contain a written statement of the reasons supporting the request required under subparagraph C in an appropriate district court of the United States to request that an individual who has applied for a federal firearms owner license or renewal thereof under this section may be denied the request for such a license or a previously issued federal firearms owner license be suspended or revoked. So it kind of looks like, just based off of what it's reading here, the director of the ATF could just simply decide on a whim, nope, we're not going to reissue your license, or no, we're not going to grant you a license, period. And therefore it strips the right away from an American citizen who, by all shapes and forms, should be able to own and possess a firearm. Part of this bill is also what I would call an expanding on universal background checks through the NICS system. And there's a whole bunch of subsections that are going to be repealed, and then they're going to be replaced with various language. So under this bill, it looks like you're being required to have a federal firearms license and a state license in order to own, possess a firearm, and or purchase one. Beginning on the date that is 180 days after the date of the enactment of the Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act of 2020, it shall be unlawful for any person who is not a licensed importer, licensed manufacturer, a licensed dealer to transfer firearms to any other person who is not so licensed unless the licensed importer, licensed manufacturer, or licensed dealer has first taken possession of the firearm for the purpose of complying with the subsection. So it looks like what they're wanting to do with this expanding of the background check system is they're pretty much wanting to do what Oregon has done and ban the sales of private party firearms. You got to go through a licensed dealer, and you have to prove that you have a federal license and a state license in order to purchase a firearm. One more time, taking freedoms away. But as they continue to take our freedoms away, this is just the ploy of the Democrats. They feel that removing guns from people is going to make the world safer, when historically it does the opposite. All we have to do is go back and look at World War II and what the Nazis did prior to them raining terror on Europe. They stripped the citizens of their firearms, and then the terror began. And that's, I believe, where the liberals are trying to take this country. Is they want to remove all the weapons from our country and make this basically a tyrannical government where you comply or you find yourself in prison. But what it's not going to do is its laws are only good for those citizens who decide to abide by the laws. You're not going to get the criminals to do it. They already don't follow the laws to begin with. There are numerous felons in possession of firearms. And what have the firearms laws done to keep the guns out of their hands? Nothing. And we have laws that say they can't have them. And so removing from the hands of citizens is just crazy. Another section of this act is, in effect, red flag laws, now becoming federal under this act, becoming legal, where somebody can complain that I've maybe lost my marbles, and then they show up to my door and they take my firearms. And then it's all without due process. So here's the federal government establishing a law, should it pass, which hopefully it won't, but should it pass, where we could have people, our next door neighbor, a father who lives 300 miles away, a brother, whoever, complains that Todd has lost his marbles, and now the police show up at my door, and I have to turn my firearms over to them. And then I got to go to court and prove that I'm mentally sound. Crazy. I understand part of their intention on this, because the ones who have committed the mass murders in this town by firearm, or in our country by firearms, are those that you could say have a mental disorder. And I understand what they're trying to do, and that's to keep the guns out of their hands. But by stripping the guns from their hands, you're going to strip the guns from everybody, even if they are of sound mind. And now the person who had the guns removed from them, they have to get an attorney, spend thousands of dollars in order to get their firearm rights back and to get their firearms back. And that is wrong any way, shape, or form. Now, there's also a section in this bill that they want to title Assault Weapons Ban. And in this ban, the language is, in my eyes, pretty scary. So in their assault weapons ban, they get very specific on what they are banning. And it says semi-automatic assault weapon means any of the following, regardless of country, manufacturer, or caliber of ammunition accepted. A semi-automatic rifle that has a capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any one of the following: a pistol grip, forward grip, folding, telescoping, detachable stock, so on and so forth, etc., etc. They also include semi-automatic rifle that has a fixed magazine with a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, like my daughter's 22 in her bedroom. Semi-automatic pistols that have a capacity to accept a detachable magazine in any one of the following: a threaded barrel, a second pistol grip, a barrel shroud, capacity to accept a detachable magazine in some location outside the pistol grip, a semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm, a manufactured weight of 50 ounces or more when unloaded, stabilizing brace or component, semi-automatic pistol with a fixed magazine that has capacity to accept more than 10 rounds. So any semi-automatic pistol now that has more than 10 rounds is now going to be banned. Semi-automatic shotguns that have any of the following: a folding, telescoping, detachable stock, a pistol grip, a fixed magazine with a capacity to accept more than 5 rounds, the ability to accept a detachable magazine, a forward grip, a grenade launcher, any shotgun with a revolving cylinder. And then they are including all these rifles, all the AK variants, and they list them by names. They list all the AKA class of fire, or AR class of firearms, from AR-10s to AR-15s, and then they go through and they specifically name certain firearms, including Bushmaster, ACR, any Armalite. We go down further: Daniel Defense, M4A1, Devil Dog, Arms 15. They literally list them all, and including in this list are the 50 caliber Barrett guns, the M107A1, the M82, the Beretta CX4 Storm, the Setme Sporter. I mean, they just go through it and they list all these. The Tavor, the Galil, and they've gone through and literally listed everything from Storm Ruger Company's Mini 14 to Thompson, to Uzis, to Walther, to Vector, Wilson Arms. They also include copies of AK variants in the ban and AR-15s. They continue the list: DPMS. They go on. These includes the AR-15 pistols or the AK-47 pistols. Those will all be banned. Included in this ban are going to be the Heckler & Koch model PS89, your MAC 10s, MAC 11s, the Galil Ace pistol, 6 Sauer P556 pistol, Thompsons, Uzis again, any of the Segas, the Sega 12s, those are all banned. The Street Sweeper, Striker 12, any of the belt-fed semi-automatic weapons, those are all going to be banned. They also include in this list of bans firearms like the CZ Scorpion, and they go through a list of those that are banned. So basically they are taking away a whole plethora of firearms and now making them illegal under this ban. And it is absolutely astonishing what they are trying to do. And you tell me, where in our Second Amendment does it say you can own and possess a firearm if, number one, you have a license, number two, they aren't various types of weaponry. They must be a revolver. They must be a pistol that has no more than 10 rounds. It can't be a semi-automatic with a capacity greater than 10 rounds. It's just insanity. And it's killing me that that's what our country's becoming. All in the name of gun violence prevention, when if you actually look at the statistics of people that are killed every single year, there are more people killed from blunt force trauma, i.e. with a fist, a baseball bat, or some sort of club, than a rifle. So they're banning all sorts of weapons, and on top of that, it looks like they also are going to ban any suppressor of any kind. So where does this leave us? And that is to contact your senators and request them to vote this bill down. Hopefully, That's what I'm hoping for. This bill won't gain any traction, and all these nut jobs will go away. There's basically no point in me contacting the two knuckleheads that represent me from the state of Oregon, because I guarantee you Ron Wyden's going to jump on board this. And as I already told you, Jeff Merkley has already signed on to this bill. So contacting them is going to do nothing. It's just going to fall on deaf ears. But I definitely will contact them, and I will leave a message, because I don't want to see this thing have the light of day in our country. It's just not the way our country should be. We are supposed to be free. We are to be free to say what we want, and we should be free to carry any sort of firearm we want. And that includes if I want to go down to the store tomorrow and buy an M16. I should have that right, because it's granted to me under my Second Amendment. Because the Second Amendment says it shall not be infringed. And what this bill does is infringe upon our rights completely. So therefore, please get up, go contact your senator, email, phone call, do what it takes, contact them, tell them to vote this bill down. And hopefully this bill won't see the light of day and ever get to the president's desk. But I also think this bill might be on hold till they see who's going to become the next president. And therefore, in my opinion, that makes it even more important that we see Donald Trump get reelected, because I guarantee you, if this bill comes before Joe Biden's feet, he'll sign it in a heartbeat, and we'll wash our rights away. And where's the NRA? Where's the NRA standing up to defend against this? I don't see it happening. So anyway, there you have it. Those are my thoughts. Second Amendment going away if this bill takes place. We'll talk to you later. Have a good day. God bless. Thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you would. Hey everybody. Hey, this is just a quick follow-up to the video I shot yesterday. Thus, I'm in a different attire. Continuity doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but I just want to encourage you to read the Senate Bill 3254 if you haven't. Take some time. It is a lengthy bill. I will leave a link to where you can find that document and read it in its entirety, and you'll get to see all the guns that are going to be banned, as well as firearms that they are going to accept. So please take the time to read the document and then contact your senators and request them to vote it down. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and God bless. Hi, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. Please hit the like button below, and if you would, hit the subscribe link up here. And take some time to watch one of my other videos. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day. God bless, and take care of yourself.